Hello. Hey, can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm Sai, and today, my voice is a bit funny. Today I am broadcasting on behalf of Unravel and Unwind. I'm usually here for Happy Accident Studios, which is my own Twitch channel, but today I am on the Unravel and Unwind channel, and we are having, I hate to use the C word so early on, but as you know, us crafters have to work in advance. This is a Christmas ornament stream. So today I'll be using some number 10 crochet thread and a technique that they call needle tatting. Okay, so I will show you. We can move down to our table camera so that you can see if I can control this thing. Okay, and here we go. Hey, you can still see me, so you'll be able to see me making funny faces at myself and stuff like that as I work. We are making today one of these, and it is a tatted motif in the middle, and then all around the outside that is crochet around a small metal bangle. So here are the things that we need for this. We need a ball of number 10 crochet thread. I have lots, but this is the one that I'm using because it's got Christmas colors in it. Need be. So, and we need a clipper or scissors, a very small crochet hook. This is a 1.5 millimeter crochet hook, quite small, and a sewing needle with a large enough eye to accommodate this thread. A cheap bangle. I bought a bunch of these from Wish, and they are just the thinnest metal bangle, but that is what we have, and it's perfect for our purposes. This is a very lightweight ornament, so it could go on anything, and that's partially due to the lightness of this almost invisible bangle. So there's that. And of course we need a tatting needle. So let's see. In case you've never seen tatting needles before, they're about this long. They come in a little tube like that. My ones I got from Amazon, and they came pretty quickly, and they're in 4 different sizes, so it depends on what thread you're using. I wanted an easy life, so I used the second to the largest size for my number 10 thread, but you don't have to. So that's my tatting needle, so that's what else I'm using today. And before I get started, I just want to first of all welcome everyone to the video. There is a very specific reason that I'm doing this today, and that is to raise money and awareness for Unravel and Unwind. And so as I work, I'll be talking a little bit about what we've been doing and how you can help us out exactly. But the first thing I thought I would tell you is if you do fancy having one of these, I'm not selling them. Okay, that's the first thing. I'm not selling these. They take a long time to make. But what I am doing is I'm willing to give one of these to anyone who makes a donation over of 20 pounds or more, because that is what we're doing today. We're trying to raise some funds just to keep our doors open, to raise awareness of the place, and just so that we can really keep running, because places like this, they do have running costs, and ours are mounting up. So I just thought it would be nice to come on here and see what I can do to bring in a little bit of support for us right now. So I just wanted to make sure that you know you're not buying this for 20 pounds, because I don't know if you would, honestly. It is just a thank you in exchange for a donation. There's no profit that I'm making off of this at all. It's just a token just to say thank you very much for your generosity, basically. So that said, on with the show. Oh, how can you donate? That is a good question. If you heard about this on Facebook, then you'll have seen the post, and in the comments I have put a link to our PayPal address. Basically, you know, PayPal address is an email, right? And it is Unravel and Unwind's email, which is unravelandunwind@gmail.com. You can send a donation via PayPal. Any amount, however big, however small, is greatly appreciated. And like I said, larger donations, 20 pounds or more, will get one of these, no matter if I have to work into the night to make them for you. What you need to do is, when you make your donation on the PayPal page, if you let us know your email address, that way we can get in touch with you about how to send it to you, and of course to thank you for your donation. So if you could please make sure that your email address is on there, and we will be in touch. So I'm just gonna say thank you in advance for anyone who can help us, because we do appreciate it. And I know that there are a lot of people who have watched me for a while and have known what I've been doing, just haven't been in a position to sort of come down to the place and do a drop in and see what we're all about, but they appreciate it and would like to be supportive. And I really am grateful for all of the people that I speak to on a regular basis about Unravel and Unwind and what we do for the community. So also, while I'm here, if you know anyone in the Medway area or anyone who can access the Medway area, particularly the Chatham intersection of Medway, if they need a place to go where they're not going to get judged and they're not going to feel pressured, and they just want a quiet place maybe to sit and do their own thing, you know, with some friendly faces who will either speak to them or leave them alone depending on what their needs are, please do send them along to Unravel and Unwind. We are in the Intra Arts building. That's 337 to 341 High Street, Rochester. So everyone is welcome, and it's nice to see new faces. So our drop-in, usually our drop-in cost is £3. You can stay for all of our open hours for that £3. It's not a limited time slot that you have. You can actually come when we're open and leave when we're closed for £3. And there is coffee and tea available. Just throw a coin in the tea jar. And if you need to use any of our supplies or resources while you're there, just throw a donation, whatever you can afford, into the box, and you can use our supplies. There's usually somebody, well, there's someone there always for you, and there's someone there making things, and you're free to join in. It really is a lovely place to go, especially if you feel at all isolated or alone, especially at this time of year. You can start to really feel it. If you've been away, if you've been out of work because you're unwell, or if you just, you know, anything, you know, we understand what that's like, and we do. You know, a lot of us have come from that themselves, and we can talk to you from a good place on that as well. So, you know, that's what we do if you don't know. And if you do know, come on down and see us. And with that, I think I'll get started with the crafting. All right. There will be a point when I'm making this where it's going to get repetitive. And during that, I will talk a little bit more about what we've been up to at Unravel and Unwind and what is coming up in the new year. So look forward to that. But on with the show, right? Okay. So I'm really awkward, like I'm really aware that I'm like in the corner of the screen right now. So because I'm gonna start drooling and sticking my tongue out, I'm gonna shut that little bit off. So let's see. Here I am. Right. So it's just me, my hands, and a couple of hours of your time. Okay. So first of all, the thank yous. I would like to thank someone called Ruby Lockwood, who is on YouTube. She's a beader on YouTube, and she does some amazing jewelry tutorials, and among many other things. And one of those things that she did was a tutorial about needle tatting, and that's where I learned how to needle tat. So thank you, Ruby, for teaching me needle tatting. And also, Pinterest is where I found the design for this particular motif. And if you're interested in finding the source for that, you can always check out the comments section on either on Happy Accident Studios or on Unravel and Unwind for the Twitch stream, which is got a picture of this on like a gray-black background. And in the comments there is a link for the PayPal, and there's also a link for where I found this lovely diamond design that I'm making in the middle of my hoop today. Okay, let's get started. Right, the first thing that we're going to need is our tatting needle, which I have, and all the rest of this can kind of go away. Yes, I am aware that this is a green background and I'm working 1/3 of the time in green. Sorry about that, not cool. But I'm sure it won't matter too much. So the first thing you got to do when you are needle tatting is you need to thread your needle. So I'm just going to do that and try not to swear too much. Here we go. Okay, now we need a little bit of sort of, okay, so it's just about the width of the screen here that I'm going to leave on the other side of the hoop, on the other side of the eye. And then I'm going to leave the same amount again, whoop, like that. I'm going to loop it here. So now what we have is we have this little loop of excess yarn that's going to be sticking down towards me. That's a loop. And then the excess that's on the other side of the eye, right? And then whatever's left is attached to the ball. I have not cut anything, and we're going to be working with the yarn coming out of the ball. So what we do is we cross this over the back of the needle, like so. Let me see if I can bring this down any lower so you can really see what I'm up to here. My finger has got the yarn trapped underneath like this. Now, this is not intended to teach you entirely how to do it. I actually have a really hard time describing how I make these knots, but if you watch me, I will show you. What you have to do is basically cast on what they call double stitches onto your hook. So we're gonna onto your needle. So watch me, right? Around that way. And then we go the other way. Yeah, this way. So effectively what you're doing is you're making a little loop and you're putting it over, and then you're making it bend the other way and you're putting that loop over. And it makes these tiny little double stitches. And you can kind of see that there's sort of two legs on the stitch with a little loop going across the bottom, a bit like the character Pi, right? That's what we're doing. So for the first loop of this, I'm making a loop right now. So I've made 4 double stitches on my hook. I'm going to bring it down again now. See if I can get it any closer without having problems with the light. Here, can you see it? I really hope it's not too, I hope it's clear. I hope it's crisp for you. But that's 4 stitches. Now I need to make a picot, which is a space in between 2 sets of stitches. And the next block of stitches that I'm going to be putting on is 7. So that's the first half of the double stitch, and that's the second half. Now once that's locked in like that, you can push it, and there's a little loop between the 2 stitches down here, and that's intentional. That's what you call your picot, okay? And it's not a very big one because I don't need a big picot. Picot is going to be used to join another loop onto it later on. In fact, this being the first picot is probably the one that I'm going to join the last loop of my motif onto. Right, so let's continue anyway, putting our double stitches on our hook. Hook, I keep saying hook, it's a needle. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's the 4 there and the 7 there. And then we need to make a picot and then 2 more. So that's 1, 2. Whoops. Go on there. Yeah. Okay, so that's 4 picot, 7 picot, 2. Now we're going to close this loop. We're going to close, it's not a loop, it's a ring. They call them rings, right? So we are going to close our ring. So I'm going to hold that. I'm going to push this needle up. Now remember how we have a loop down here? And here it is, here's the end of the loop, right? We need to make sure, as we pull this through, before we finish pulling it through, do you see how there's still a loop here? We need to make sure this needle goes through the loop. And then when it closes, it will loop it all around like that. Okay, it looks a bit uneven right now because of the number of picots and where they are. But here we go. It's just, I like to loosen them up, like just make them a little bit more visible before I finish this off. So that's that ring. And then your ball end is still kind of over your finger like this, right? And then the one that's attached to the needle is kind of floating around down here. So I'm going to put my needle through here, and that just ties a little knot and secures this ring exactly the way it is. And we can go right ahead and start the next ring straight away. So we're still using the yarn that's coming from the ball, and we're going to continue. Now the first part of our next ring is 2. So here we go. That's 2 double stitches. Now we are going to attach what's the beginning of this ring onto this little picot of the last ring. So we rotate it, we don't flip it, we rotate it around, right? And the needle goes into the picot. So now I've got my 2 double stitches and the picot on the needle. I'm going to yarn over the needle, and I'm going to pull that through the picot like that. And then I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to put 7 double stitches on. That's 4, 5, 6. And if it gets too close to the end, you can just pull it down anytime, doesn't matter. Okay, now when I joined this picot, I didn't make another picot. I didn't leave that space. I just connected to the picot. That's because it doesn't need to be there. It needs to be quite close up here like that. So now we're in the middle of doing the second of 3 rings in a cluster. So we've done 2, then the join, then 7. Now we need a picot. So we start to make the next stitch and leave a gap. You see the size of the gap we're leaving, just not very big at all. And then we finish off that double stitch. And then we go, we need 2. We need 7 actually. We need 7. So that's 2. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. The thread's starting to change color already. That's all right. Don't worry about that. Now, so we have 2, the join, then 7, then a picot, and then 7. And then finally, we need a picot and another 2 double stitches. So that's 1, it's running away from me, 2. Okay, that is our second ring finished. So what we need to do, and just to make sure you can see this, so we pull this needle through again. You just pinch all these stitches together so that it doesn't twist or anything, right? And it's good if you get your finger in there like I did, then you won't forget to loop your needle back through this as you're closing your ring. There we go. And you just pull it until it's, until you're happy with the size of the ring. And then you make that half of a double knot there. And that secures your second ring. And we're just going to go again, right? And when you start a new ring, you just put the needle sort of across that half of the ring, the previous ring, and you just start your double stitches as close as possible, like that. Now we've done 2, so we're going to rotate this around again, and we are going to put needle through the picot and yarn over the needle, pull that stitch through like that. That's kind of the hardest thing I have to do on here, if I'm honest. That's the toughest thing. The rest of it's easy. See, 1 double stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6? Yes. 7. Okay. And then we need a picot, and then 4. So we're going to do our picot here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to close this ring off. So again, we're going to pull this, put it through the loop, and this will close our third ring. And while we're closing our third ring, it's important to have a look and make sure that that third ring is about the same size as your first one. It's not an exact science, but it would really help. You can make it as equal as you can. And then you tie that. And that is our first cluster complete. Now this motif that we're making is, if you can see, is a combination of 4 of these triple clusters we've just done and some chains. Now these chains are made in the same way as loops except for one difference, and we're going to do that now. First of all, chains are worked backwards. So what we want to do is we want to reverse our work. So we flip our project over like this, just onto the back. And then we're going to place our needle here in the middle of the cluster. We're going to put on 10 double stitches. 1. You don't hear me counting all day. It's going to be really boring, isn't it? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Let me just double check. 3, 6, 9, 10. Yep. Okay, now watch this. We're going to close off, but instead of putting our needle back through the loop, we are not going to do that. And what's going to happen as we pull this is that the sort of smaller end of the double stitches is going to cluster this up, and it's going to add a curve to it. So here's a little curve like that. And then when you're happy with the size of your curve, you tie that same knot that you did to secure your loops. and then we can reverse our work again to bring it back to the right side. So that's where we're at the minute. We've got one cluster of 3 and we've got one chain of 10 stitches. I'm going to take a little water break. And we are a quarter of the way done with our motif. So I'll just sort of reiterate what I'm doing today. Today I am here having a little sort of craft along thing. I'm displaying some needle tatting, which is one of the many crafts that I do personally. Whenever anything's on display at Unravel and Unwind, you can be sure that at least one of the following 3 things is true about it. Number 1, it's probably for sale. Number 2, you can probably commission someone to make one for you that isn't that one. And the third thing is that more often than not, people in Unravel and Unwind will be happy to teach you how to make that. So if you're ever walking past us on the high street and you happen to see all of the lovely things in our window, those lovely things are all either for sale or to teach you how to make. So do get in touch if you're at all interested in those things. We have a schedule of workshops that are available, and if you don't see something that you would like to learn in our workshops, I highly recommend that you get in touch, because as a member of the community, you are a member of our community. So please do, tell us what you'd like to see if you don't see something that you'd like to have there. Or if there's something we're not doing that you have the skills to teach yourself, please do contact us. And, you might just be looking for a venue to hold your own workshops. Talk to us. I think we can do you a deal. So that said, let me adjust my chair. Stretch a little bit. Rest break's over. Let's do the next quarter of this motif pattern. Okay, so I'm back here with my needle, and I am going to place my needle at the end of my chain, and then I'm going to start right over at the beginning again with 1, 2, 3, 4 double stitches for my next ring, and then it's a picot. Oh no, it's not a picot. Do you know what it is? It would be a picot if it was on its own, but we're adjoining onto the last picot of the last cluster. Look. So we are going to put our needle through our final picot on this ring, and then we are going to make our 7 double stitches. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing at the minute, because sometimes it does overlap for a little while. That is just the nature of the beast. It does overlap. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm just gonna have a quick little count up and make sure I am actually right, and that is 7. Yes, it is. We got our color change coming in again. Then we need our, we need our picot, and then 2 more of the doubles on there. Now that is our second ring finished. So remember what we do? We pull that thread through, and then we put it through the loop, tighten it up. This is where you're going to start to see the pattern emerging. This here is the equivalent of the red bit here that we just made earlier, right? And then we need to tighten this ring up to be the same size as this one. So that's what we're going to do. It's about right. Right? And then we will tie our little half knot to secure. And then we will move on. Oop. Always remember which way up it's going. It's harder if you don't have a color change yarn like I have, because you do tend to forget, and it can look similar on both sides. So I know that I started out with these two white ones and it turned red, so I know which way it's supposed to be facing. You need to kind of keep your wits about you when you're doing this, for that reason, right? So that's the first loop in our second cluster. Let me just pick out this little picot because it got a little bit small, and I need that for my next ring. Continuing on. All right, that's 2 double stitches. Then we join into the picot. And then we need a 7 separated by a picot and then another 7. And that's 6 and 7. And slide it down a bit. I'm going to do the picot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's kind of our center picot. That makes this one. Okay, and then we need a picot and 2 more double stitches on. That's 1, 2. Okay, and that is our center ring on our next cluster done. So we're going to pull that through the loop, close the ring, like that. Then we tie our little half knot, and we go on to our third ring. There are some much more complicated things that you can do with tatting. This is utilizing the more simple things that you can do, just in repeating it in such a way. I absolutely adore tatting. That's 4. Oops. That's 5. 6. Ooh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? 6. Come on. 7. If it gets difficult like that for your loops to go on, just push the needle down like this. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't do it because I get lazy and I think, oh, it's only a couple more stitches, no problem. Okay, so, oh no, yeah, it is. I'm right. Am I right? Yes. Picot, and then we need 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So then we close this ring off. Make sure that it doesn't loop around any of your finished work, because that's going to not be very pretty. Okay, so here we go. We've got lovely Yep, same size ring as the other one. That's what we want before we do our half knot to finish off the loop. Now we need to do, because we've done our second cluster now, we need to reverse our work. So here we go. Work reversed. And now we're going to do our chain of 10 double stitches. It's a very quiet thing, isn't it? And 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we tighten up our 10th chain without going through the loop this time. Tighten it up just a bit. So we get that curve onto it. And we do our half knot, secure it, and then we reverse the work again, flip it back over like that. Now I know you can't see that because it's on this green background, so let me just see if I've got a little something. It's another color just for a minute. There you go. Now you can't see the white, but you can because it's casting a shadow. Okay, so now we've got our little cluster of 3 here, and we've got a chain, and then we've got our cluster of 3 again, and then our chain. That means that we're halfway done, and I'm going to take another little stretch break, and I am going to have a little water to drink. Now, we haven't been at this for too long, have we? So let's have a little chat then in our little break here. One of the things that we're working on for next year is we're having a group on Sundays, and it's called Journey of You, or Joy, Joy. And what we're doing is we are focusing on self-improvement and, you know, just basically a lot of like self-help and self-empowerment and goal setting. And, you know, a goal without a plan is a dream. So we are going to make our dreams into goals and divide them into pieces and check up on them at intervals. So among that, that and lots of other helpful topics that we'll be talking about, that is on one Sunday of every month, and that is, it costs £4 to go to that. It is from 2 to 4 p.m. on a Sunday. And it is at Unravel and Unwind. We did have it in a cafe for a little while, but we don't now. We are having it actually at the studio. And you're more than welcome to come down. It can get kind of intense, but you know what? It's worth it. It really is worth it. Because, you know, sometimes if you talk things out with someone else, you tend to get a different perspective on things, and it just, it flips your ideas a little bit. And, you know, it's all really great. We're all sort of on the same team working together to just sort of better ourselves or challenge ourselves. And maybe it also, I find, it actually helps us to understand other people better as well, which I have a lot of trouble with and I really need to do. So that's why it's good for me. Anyway, we are firming up what direction we're going to take in the new year. So if you want to get started in the new year, why not drop by at our next one, which I believe is on the 19th of November. You know, you can book via our events page on our website. That's unravelandunwind.co.uk, all spelled out. And, you know, you can book a place on it there. and there will be coffee, there will be tea. Um, the majority of people who go are gluten-free, so if you want to bring your own cake, please do. I'm not gluten-free, but I maybe should be. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's worth a try, isn't it? Um, so anyway, that's one of the things that we've got going on, and we are scheduled way into the next year for that one. And we also have coming up, if Sundays are your thing, if that's what you want to do, come out on a Sunday. I believe it is next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday, the 12th of November. We are having you learn as you go felting. Now, if you've got your own felting equipment, but you just haven't dove into it, you know, you bought the stuff and then you kind of, I don't know, you just procrastinated and just put it aside and forgot about it. Get it out. Come on down. We will be learning together, uh, and we can do wet felting or needle felting, and it's lovely stuff. Have a look on Pinterest to see what kind of things are felted. And it's not the kind of felting where you knit or crochet something out of 100% wool and then shrink it on purpose. That's a different kind of felting. Although this is made out of wool, it's not crocheted or knitted, so you don't have to worry about having those skills. And also so that's wet felting, and then there's needle felting, which is altogether different and quite fun. It looks addictive. I'm afraid to try it because it looks so addictive. I'm just afraid I'll get another thing, and I don't need another thing. I've got so many in here. This craft room is full. Um, so anyway, I digress, but that's on next Wednesday, the 12th. You're too late for tomorrow's beginner crochet class because that has sold out, but there's another one on the 28th of January, I want to say. But if the Sunday is actually the 26th, then it's the 26th. I can't remember. It's honestly, it's on our events page. I know this because I'm in charge of the events. Thumbs up for me being in charge of the events. Not. But I am getting there. I'm getting a handle on it. It is a bookable event. You can go on there and book your place so that you won't get disappointed because Faye is teaching it. It is a beginner's crochet class that will focus on the granny square. And you can go there if you've never held a crochet hook before. And well, here's hoping anyway. But most people, yeah, do come out with granny squares made and are raring to go to the next course, which is lovely as well. But I'm sure that Faye will tell you all about that. So do check it out anyway. We're on Facebook. We're on the web, on the interwebs. We have a web page and we've got a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch, obviously. Hello. We're on YouTube. Just look for Unravel and Unwind in all those lovely places, and you'll be able to see probably more than you wanted to know about what we do here. Just a reminder that anyone who decides to dig deep for us and donate will be thanked profusely, but also anyone donating over £20 will be receiving one of my handmade Christmas ornaments as a thank you for your donation. So get in there if you would like one. I'm probably going to be doing nothing but that until last post, but I will do my very, very best to get them sent straight out as well. So if you'd like to learn how to make one of these lovely things, you can always pop down to Unravel and Unwind on a Monday or a Thursday. Be good to organize it ahead of time because I do have a papercraft make and take that usually is available from 11 to 2 Mondays and Thursdays. And if I'm busy doing that, I wouldn't be able to stop and teach tatting. So if you want to learn anything at all that you've seen me make, either on my own channel, Halfback Studios, or here on Unravel and Unwind, then please, by all means, ask me. I'm happy to pass my knowledge on. And with that, I'm going to have some more water. I talk too much. Man. Oh, and I guess I should probably share that PayPal link again. That is unravelandunwind@gmail.com. If you wish to support us with a lovely monetary gift, we would be so grateful. So let's go then. We've done 2 repeats. We've got 2 to go. Let's get rid of that. So we've reversed our work again, so it's pointing the right way for our rings. And then we are going to do this here. So we've got 4 double stitches going on. That's 3. That's 4. Then we're going to rotate it, and we're going to join it in the last picot, sorry, of our last cluster. So we need to do that. I'm not going to get my threads mixed up because right now they're the same color, which can be a little bit confusing if you don't have your wits about you. Yes, it's very confusing. It's making it hard for me to do this. Okay, have we done it? Yes, we've done it. Okay, so we've got our 4 double stitches and we've managed to get the yarn through there. So now we do 7 double stitches. 1, 2. This is looking bad. I'm starting to lose my brain. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we do a picot. 1, 2. And then we close our ring. Now, do you see what we're seeing here? This little white end is still sticking through quite late in the day as I'm pulling this through. So I'll tell you why that happens after I've fastened this off. Okay, that happens when we need to start pulling our excess thread through a little bit. So I'm going to pull this through a little, and that leaves a shorter tail at the other end of the eye, but we need it, so that's why we're doing it. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is double up on that thread being pulled through, because you won't be able to get it back later. Okay, so we have secured our first ring, and we're going to move on to our middle ring. Right. So we've got 2 double stitches on, and we're going to rotate it. I'm going to put needle through, yarn over and pull that through. It's kind of hard to do if there's no hook there, but you know, it's a skill. You learn it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we do our middle picot and another 7. I know better. I'm going to pull it down. Come on. There you go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now our color change just so happened to occur right there in the middle. So that's quite lucky. And then our picot, and then 2 more doubles. 1, 2. And then we're ready to close that ring. Oop, what have I done there? What have I done there? I'm losing track of where I am. Here it is. Okay, my work ended up reversing itself is what it is. And I was trying to pull this on the wrong side, and it started to twist. So you don't want that to happen. So do be careful. This pulling tight thing here is where most of the sort of formation of this actually happens. So you got to be careful. Not exactly sure what happened to that. Very interesting. Happy accident, I guess. It seems to be a little bit twisted. Interesting. Each one is special in its own way. But anyway, that is fine. We do our half knot to secure, and we move to the next. So 1, 2 double stitches. Then we rotate. Oop. See, I just dropped it. Sometimes that happens. There you go. And then we do 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have I done? 6, 7. And then we do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then we're going to close this one. And that, actually, that's the last time that we're going to do that ring in that way, because the next cluster is the last cluster. And it's all, well, it's not all change, but that last picot is not going to be there. That last picot is going to actually be a join into the first picot. So, confusing, maybe, but all will become clear, right? So we're going to tie our little half knot here. And then we're going to reverse our work. And we're going to make our 10 stitch chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then remember, not through the loop, just pull it straight through. Allow it to curve a little bit. We do our half knot to secure. Right, now we reverse our work again. So now, where are we? Let's have a little look at what we've got. So what we have now is 1, 2, 3 corner cluster motifs and 1, 2, 3 chains. So what we're about to do after we have another little break is we're going to make the first 2 rings of the cluster again, and then we are going to make our final ring and connect it to that picot. It's kind of hard to see at the minute. Let's pull it. There it is. We're going to connect it to that picot, and then we are going to have to make our final chain, and that will go into here, or here, if you can see that better. And then our motif will be finished. So, water break time, have a little stretch. it is important when you're crafting, particularly if you suffer from any chronic pain, that you do take breaks at intervals and stretch. It also, there are some exercises you can do to help to um, to prevent repetitive strain injury, or RSI. Lovely. Let's see, what else can I say? Oh yeah, so one of the other regular things that we try to do, but lately we have been quite busy in the studio on a Monday. Normally we have our Facebook Live Monday morning chit chat, and we just kind of chat. And if you want to ask any questions, you can do so in the little chat box, and we watch and try to answer you. And we just basically talk about whatever we feel like talking about craft wise, and what we've got planned for the week and what's coming up. So it's quite a nice chance to sort of start the week with a little crafty feel. Even if you can't make it to us, if you're a long way away and you just want to sort of check in and say hi, you're most welcome to do so during the Monday morning chit chat on Facebook. So let me just it seems like I've just done this a minute ago. But I will share it again just so you know. I am doing this stream to raise money for Unravel and Unwind to keep our doors open this winter/spring, and to help combat loneliness in the community. And if we are accepting donations via PayPal on unravelandunwind@gmail.com. So if any and all donations are appreciated, and you will be sent a thank you for making a donation. But those donating more £20 or more will receive one of my handmade Christmas ornaments as a personal thank you for contributing to Unravel and Unwind in 2017. So that said, let's move on. And I'm going to continue tatting the final corner of this motif. So our work is on the correct side again, which is good. Put our needle next to the chain again where we left off, and we do 4 double stitches. I don't know if you've been able to figure this out by watching, but a double stitch, it's basically a loop twisted that way, and then a loop twisted that way. I don't know if you noticed that, but what happens is, as you learn this, you develop your own way of putting those loops on that looks confusing to the layman, and that's what's happened. So if it looks like I'm doing some kind of strange dance, not true. I'm not doing a strange dance at all. It's perfectly normal. And it's just the one that I happen to have come up with. It's a bit like crochet, really. Everyone kind of eventually comes up with their own way to hold the hook and yarn, and that works for them. And this is the same for me. This is how I put my double stitches on. So that's 1, 2. You saw me go through the picot there, didn't you? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, picot, and 2. 1, 2. We're going to close up our ring again through that loop. Tighten it up. Give it a little pull so that it's a similar size to the one next to it before you do your half knot to secure it. Like that. And then we continue with our central of the 3. So that's 2 double stitches. 1, 2. And then we rotate this around so that we can attach to the picot. Yarn, whoop. See, my yarn over popped off. So through the loop yarn over. Oop, nope, see, it popped off again. Sometimes you just need the patience of a saint. And my patience is wearing thin because I want dinner. I'm hungry. Is anyone else hungry? Right. So that's it. Done. Then we need 7, 2, whoop, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Push it down. Leave room for picot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and picot. And then 1, 2. And that one, I'm going to close that up. Like that. Lovely. And then I'm quite happy with the size of that one. Let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, maybe a little tighter then, just a little bit. And then we do our half knot, secure that. Now we are on our final ring for this motif. And the reason I'm saying this is so I don't forget myself, okay? But we're gonna do 2 double stitches, 1, 2, join it. Whoops, well, that's just come off. Silly me. Hold on. It's this way. I don't mean it to look this awkward. Okay, that's 2 double stitches. Then we go through this little picot here. No, I didn't get it. These are the days when you really just want a hook. You know what? If you can do this, if you get fed up, look, take your crochet hook, stick it in there, pull it through, right, and just stick it on the needle like that. You don't, if you get sick of it, it's a trick. There you go. And then, whoop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now this is where we would put our picot and then 4 more stitches, but we've got to kind of arrange this so that we can see where we have to go into, right? So I'm going to lay this out again on the table the way it's supposed to go. That is not the way it's supposed to go. It's not supposed to go around that. Make sure that you've got your, you've got your loop there and you've got your thread tail on that side, right? Make sure everything is okay and everything is sort of facing the right way, like this, right? Because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put that picot right there onto this hook. So we need to make sure that nothing is twisted. All right, so here we are. There it is, right? Nope, it's gonna do that thing again. All right, be nice to me. No, gosh, this is the tricky bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use my crochet trick. So here it is. I'm gonna put, oops, I'm gonna go from the bottom up. Might be easier. Okay, doing that. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna, sorry. I'm just gonna go through this. No, come on. Go through that. Up here. Like that. Okay. Then I'm gonna do my 4 double stitches that I need to do. So take that out. 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Oh, trapped. 3, and 4. Right now we should be able to close this one through that loop. It's a bit magical, but here we go. There it is. That has closed up this motif like that. So it is joined. We need to make sure that the size of the ring is okay. It's a little bit small. Okay. Here we go. We've got our knot, securing it into place, right? So now what we have it's not done yet. We've got our little square motif, but now we're just missing this final little chain, which we're going to make as soon as I have a little drink of water there. Okay, so we reverse our work because that's what we do. That's odd, I did reverse it and it still doesn't look right. That is actually the way it needs to be, is this way. Okay. Then I'm just going to tip it over onto its other side because the working threads are over here. Okay. So this might be a little bit weird. It's the threads have got twisted. So just make sure that when you start your threads are not twisted. Okay. So we're going to start here. And we're going to do our 10 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we are going to pull that through without hooking it through the loop because it's a chain, not a loop. Okay. And then we're going to turn this the way we need it to go. Do you see that? Okay, hold on. We're not doing that yet. We're going to make our chain a little smaller. Get that hook in it, like that. Get the curve into it. Do the half stitch to secure it. Then we need to turn it so that we can attach it where it needs to go. So if we look at this motif, it should go there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to use my needle to take it. I'm just going to poke it in where it's supposed to sort of attach to. Pull that through. Now, has that worked? It will once I flip it. No, that's not, I don't know, it's not too good, that. I'm going to stick it somewhere else so that I can pull this string back through here. Right. Okay, so now it has been put into place, but it's not quite right, is it? But it'll do, right? So that's been put in the right place. Now we need to tie a knot like that. Yep. And then we'll tie it the other way as well. Tie it the other way to make it a full double knot. And then we're going to take, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to take the ball end, the bit of yarn that's attached to the ball. We're going to cut that. So we are free. We are free of the ball. And this thread here, we're going to start to clean up our ends. So this is green thread, so I'm thinking we need to put it through the green stitches to hide it. Whoop, whoop. No, we can't. We can't, because they're too far away. I'm going to hide it under this chain then of white. I'm going to skip one little stitch so it's got something to wrap around. And I'm just going to push that needle through all these other little double stitches. And the only thing you've really got to watch for when you're doing this is that you're not going to cause any misshaping of the piece. So don't pull it too tight when you've pulled it through. Like that, right? And you've already tied a knot and you've hidden about 1 centimeter worth of ends, and that's enough really to hide. You see that? So you just come up here and you clip it as close as you can. Go on then. And then you're through, and then we do the same with this end. But I like to thread it onto a smaller needle, so I'm going to do that. A little harder to thread these. Okay. And I'm going to put this one into this loop, into the double stitches of the loop. Don't have to go all the way up, don't have to go all the way around. Sometimes it's hard to pull the needle through, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to use a sort of a rubbery sponge to get a good grip on the needle to pull it back through, and that's okay. There we go. Now, that's the motif finished. Let's flip it over onto the front there. So that looks lovely. Right, that's our motif done, and then what remains is to attach it to this lovely thing right here. Take a little break, have a drink of water and a stretch, and also just take the opportunity to thank anyone who's watching this, and just to say, you know, thank you so much for joining me on this interesting adventure that we're on with this with the ornament making here. I've got more of these to do, obviously. Top secret, but so I hope my friend's not watching, but I'm making her some to match one of her rooms in her house. So it's not these ones, it's a different colors. Look. Ooh, pretty. Yeah, I've been making some of them for her for Christmas. She gets Christmas ornaments for Christmas, so she gets to open them early. Cheeky. Right, but let's get back to the colors. Okay, Christmas colors. So the tatting is over, and now that all that remains is crochet. So I'm going to start with a slip knot in green, which you probably can't see, and my 1.5 millimeter hook. And I'm going to put this hook through the central picot on that top loop. Then I am going to go under the bangle, and the working thread is going over the bangle, right? So I'm going to pull this through. I'll have to start over now. Hold on. It got a little split. Okay. So now I've got 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over. And I'm going to pull through both of those loops. Okay. So that's kind of started it off, right? I'm going to take this extra end and I'm going to put the end, I'm going to let the end follow. Have you seen any of that? I don't even know if you saw any of that. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to put the hook through the bangle, pull up a loop so that both loops are above the bangle now. And I'm going to yarn through both of the loops like that. And that is one, it's basically a double crochet into the ring. That's what they would call it if you were crocheting. And that's what I'm doing now, is I'm just going to double crochet. And I need to do about 30 double crochets to get around 1/4 of the way. And once I've done that, I'll be able to show you what's next. Although I bet you know. Anyway, you pick up the next corner. And then you crochet your way around another 1/4 of the way and you pick up the next corner. Yeah? Sound familiar? Right, so this is the bit that kind of takes a little bit of time and isn't really particularly interesting. The good part about this that I have found by doing so is that if you're in a crochet group and you're having a good old chit chat, you just do this for a little while as you're chatting, and then you can go back and count later and see how many you've got. And it doesn't it means you don't have to spend the whole time counting. You just keep going for a bit and see where it gets you. Let's see. Let's have a little count here. Is it 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, right? 19, 20. So yeah, you're basically just doing a whole bunch of double crochet. Let's see, what else have we got going on besides our crochet workshops and our felting? We also have art classes on a Thursday night. It is Can Draw, Will Draw with Ribbon Gray. It's £10, and she is a very awesome teacher who really just has a genuine enthusiasm for art, and she has a way of bringing it out in others. So if you haven't met her yet, you haven't had a class yet, do get in touch. She's got an advanced group on Saturdays, and she's got beginners available. There are plenty of spaces for beginners still left. Let's see, what else? I'm going to count these again. 1 sec. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. There we go. Okay, so we're 1/4 of the way around. Ah, we've quite luckily turned white, and now I need to get the hook through this loop, pull that loop through, and that's the second corner attached. Hooray! And now I can start going round again, and we can chat about something else. So, I know we haven't done much on our Twitch channel lately, and sorry about that. If you have just joined us on Twitch for this particular occasion, it would be cool if you would join Twitch. You can do that using your Google ID, so you don't have to remember yet another password. And you can join in the chat when you watch somebody doing any kind of live activities. You can ask questions or give your comments in the chat box live, and the person who is crafting can sort of see what you're saying. And if they're not looking down, I'm really not good at looking up at the chat box, but I'm getting better. And hopefully someone will answer your questions for you. So it's kind of a cool thing to join if you haven't already joined Twitch. You don't have to be a broadcaster to join Twitch as a user. I know a lot of people on Twitch that don't actually have any videos broadcast. They just like to watch others. My husband is a Twitcher. He's a Twitch partner. He's got quite a few viewers on his channel because he does Train Simulator and a bunch of other simulation games. Actually, he's got some really funny ones. So he's good to watch. That's Matt Pedalston. Sometimes his viewers will come over and watch me just when Matt's not entertaining them and I am. It's nice to see them sometimes. People coming through from other channels. Very good. Twitch is a fantastic way of sort of sharing live what's going on, what you're making, if you're making something that isn't copyrighted, you know. I'm not sure about this particular little thing, but it's basically just rings and chains, which is pretty much the essence of tatting, and double crocheting into a ring is nothing new. So I don't believe that I'm offending anyone or stealing anything or anything. If you want, I have actually attributed the place where I got this motif from. It is in the comments section on the Facebook post. So if you are a member of the Facebook, the Unravel and Unwind Facebook page or the Happy Accident Studios Facebook page, then you will have been able to see where I got my pattern from. And it's just there, out there online. Lovely. Let me just count these again so I can keep going. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 26. I always have like just a couple more left. 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so that means I can get my third corner up. There we go. Lovely, and I've just got the one left. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the hanging loop, which is just some chain stitches. So I do that. All right, so that's my chain stitches, and then I just need to slip stitch into there to close that up, and then I can continue crocheting around. There's lots you can do when you come in for drop-in at Unravel and Unwind. One of the things that we do have plenty of is sort of adult coloring stuff, and you know, so if you don't want to do anything that, you know, if you don't want to learn anything, you know, and you just want to enjoy doing something with your hands and sort of to get your mind off of stuff or just to relax, we do have the adult coloring stuff available, and we also have plenty of yarn, crochet hooks, knitting needles, and we also have an amazing collection of paper crafting materials, mostly the card making stuff from Crafter's Companion, Kanban. There's some Hunky Dory in there, Dawn Bibi, you know, all that stuff that you can sort of make the collage cards out of, and that's nice fun. You know, you don't have to be a you know, a super crafty person to be able to do that. You can just, you know, choose things. I mean, I always talk to people about, you know, oh, I like to do, you know, paper crafting and this and that, and they always say to me, oh, well, I'm just not creative. But honestly, like, what I want to say is, you know, did you pick out your clothes this morning? Because if you did, that is the level of decision making you need in papercraft. This goes with this. Okay, let's stick them together. So, you know, if you're at all interested in papercraft, do hit me up. This month's, it's probably no surprise. This month's make and take is actually going to be heat embossed gift cards, not gift cards, gift tags. Okay, so if you need to do some gift tags on your presents and you want to wow people with your own handmade ones, come on down. It's a very easy process, and I think it's a giggle. So, you know, come down, have some fun. That's between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays. I am there for you. There's also just plenty, you know, there's always the drop-in, which is always, you know, free to do whatever you want to do. If there's something else going on, that's fine, but drop-in's still sort of there. So you don't have to join in with what everyone else is doing if you want to do something totally different. We're pretty laid back at Unravel, so, you know, it'd be great to see you though. I'm going to count these again: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25. I always stop at about the same place, don't I? 26, 27, 28, 29, whoop, 30. And then I can join in my final corner. Oh, this is pulling. This one is slightly smaller than the others, but that's the beauty of handmade stuff, isn't it? Not one, no two are the same. I almost said not one is the same. That's not right. It's no two are the same. I thought it might be fun to try and get like a little bead to float in the middle there somehow. I wonder how I would do that. Such is the creative mind, always thinking, pushing the boat out just a little bit further. I'll get there, but maybe not this year. So yeah, if you want one of these things, donate us a lovely 20-pound note, and we will give you one as a thank you for digging deep into your pockets to support Unravel and Unwind. And if you would like to come and learn how to make some Christmas tags, that make and take thing is only it's only £5. It's basically a drop-in fee of £3 plus another £2 to make some tags. And it's easy, but it's fun. You might discover something new that you might want to do on your own time as well. And if you do choose to take it further, I will be there to advise you on what to buy and from where, try and get you a good price on things. And of course, if you are a paper crafter and you want to have a little rummage in our paper craft collection, all of it is up for sale, and we will do you a deal, especially if you're taking lots of it off of our hands. So do come down. We love our paper craft in the studio, but space is limited, and we've had so many generous donations over the past year or two of paper craft supplies that we're basically inundated. So we never need any more paper. So come on down and grab some. And you will get a good deal. You will not be paying retail for this stuff. Guarantee you that. All right, let's count again. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. This is the part where you have to sort of start to look out. If you're running out of space on your bangle, just push it down. There's plenty of room in there, I promise. So this is 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, whoops, nope, do that again, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Now, when you've come around full circle, you do need to join it up with the slip stitch, but before you do that, you've got to make sure it's not twisted like this, okay? So you've got to make sure that all the stitches are pointing that way and there's no kink or anything in it. And then just take one of your stitches, slip stitch in there, and I like to go over just one more time. Then we cut it, pull it all the way through, and then I'm going to thread my needle again, and I'm going to hide the end. Oh, this one's really interesting. I'm going to have to see if I can do something to fix this one. I'm not very happy with it, if I'm honest. If you're one of our donation angels and you do receive one of these, this is not one that you'll be getting, because this one I feel like something went wrong when I was making this one. So this one's gonna be kept. I'm just gonna keep this one for myself, I think, because I had a little bit of a twist early on and I didn't fix it. So I'm just gonna leave it. Oh dear. Okay. Pull this out. There we go. Right. So yeah, you can't have this one. This is mine. This is my special one. But there you go. That is me making something at Christmas time. Hooray. Yay. So if you want to, oh gosh, you can't really see it on the green, can you? Look at that. Can't see it on that either. What color should I use? What color is this? Oh, perfect. There it is. Christmas ornaments. 3 of them. La la la. Here they are, and thank you for watching me. Yes, it took about 2 hours to make this thing, but you know what? 2 hours of my time for a £20 donation, I say worth it. To be honest, I'm perfectly happy to lovingly make you a handmade Christmas ornament if you'd be willing to help us on our way as a drop-in center in the community. We are so happy to be toward the end of our third year now, and we've been having such a great time meeting lots of new people in the community. But really, we're going to need some more people to hang out with us, and more people to sort of take part and join in. And you know what? Let's build this up. Let's talk. Let's end loneliness. Hashtag end loneliness. And I know that's a thing because I saw it on Twitter. So definitely, visit us, come and see us, and we'll be happy to just talk your ear off about craft and help you make something. You won't leave empty-handed from Unravel and Unwind, I promise. I've been Sai. This has been a fundraising video for Unravel and Unwind. If you wish to donate any amount at all, it would be greatly appreciated to our PayPal address, which is unravelandunwind@gmail.com. We'd be so pleased to receive anything large or small to help us meet our costs and stay open. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Please follow us on Facebook and YouTube. There's something on YouTube as well, which you can follow us on. I'm sure I'll be putting this up on our YouTube channel. And join us on our Facebook page for lots of crafty chat and fun goings on. I've been Sai, and I will see you all again soon, I hope. Bye.